Like many men and women before the Greek gods, my hubris is humorous and numerous. You've seen all your big favorite booktubers do math, right? Like, they have a certain book that they need to read by a certain date, so they divide up the pages. Like, oh, I need to read 27 pages every day to get where I'm going. This is like that, except worse. I always have way too much on my TBR, and not enough self-moderation to actually dictate to myself what is a realistic goal and what is folly. So let's find out together. Now, you've seen me take on challenges such as 10K in 10 days, 28K in 28 days, or if you haven't, the videos are linked down there in the description below, along with my main channel link. Where are you going? But this may be my greatest challenge, this year. I'm not even going to try to lie to you and say ever. There is nothing that's going to top that 28K in 28 days. Or is there? Today is June 4th. It's official. In a week, my birthday. Those are not the order of the words I wanted to say. It's June 4th. It's official. In a week, it's my birthday. Does that bode well for my reading comprehension skills? Absolutely not. And as usual, I have a packed TBR this month, because moderation is nowhere in my name. And being that it is my birthday month, and it is so close to my actual birthday, if you will, I know I'm going to be getting a lot of books. Maybe not as much as usual. I'm trying to tamper it down because, sheesh, girl, but we all know. We all know. We all know. You thought I was going to go fully down that time, didn't you? You gotta always be on your feet. Gotta always be prepared. I was gonna say, never know when shay's gonna go down on you, and then I realized what that sounded like coming out of my mouth. And so... I just heard a dog bark. That was not my dog. I am too Southern Appalachian to go see what that was. I know I'm going to get a lot of books, and I still have a lot of books left to read. Thus, my long, hopeful TBR for this month. And I got curious the other morning. So I tried to be realistic, and I took all of my hopeful TBR books, and I added up all the pages, and I divided by the days and stuff, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're gonna do, because I know no limit. And when I actually did the math, it turned out to be a pretty realistic number. At least in Shay terms, a pretty realistic number. I have about 17 hopeful books on my TBR that I legitimately, realistically think that I can finish. At least, hopefully. Some of these I'm already in the middle of. Some of these I'm reading for other challenges, some of them I'm reading for videos, so it all kind of blends together. After adding up all the pages, I got 7,087 pages. Now, when I subtract the number of pages that I've already read in these books for books that I'm currently reading, we have a total of 6,670 pages. For those of you who need to get the 667 out of your system, I'll give you a moment of silence to do that. Okay, good? Cool. And as today is June 4th, if you count today and then the rest of the month, that's 27 days. If you divide 667 by 27, that is the number that I said. Very good, Shay. Divide that up, you get about 247 pages a day. Which is honestly not that crazy when you consider that I did like 1,000 pages a day as my starter thing. That's baby food. That's baby talk. But to make it a nice round even number, I'm going to be trying to read 250 pages a day for the rest of the month. Why do I round it up? Well, number one, it's more satisfying. Number two, I do have some digital books and other books that I am currently reading that I want to finish, so adding 3 or 4 pages here will help me make some progress in them as well. But we are mainly going to focus on the main TBR. And as such, I'm going to give y'all a real quick speed run on all these books. I'm not going to wax too poetic about them, I'm just going to tell you what they are and why I want to read them. Crooked Kingdoms by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second in the Six of Crows duology, and I really enjoyed the first book, and I would really like to finish it out. You'll notice there's a lot of series in here. Soul of a Witch, Souls Trilogy, Book 3. I stopped myself from saying Volume 3. Again, this will just finish out the trilogy for me and finish up another series, and I've been loving it. I love demons, and what better than to treat myself on my birthday month than by reading all about demons. Demons are my thing. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I butchered the first part, might as well butcher the rest of it. The old King Arthur tale that I'm trying to read more classics and just generally be more knowledgeable and smart. I know that this one's going to take a little bit more thought, as in I need to take my time with it because it is medieval. It is medieval lit, but I still hope to enjoy it. Medieval. The Angel of Indian Lake, Stephen Graham Jones. Why did I do it like that, girl? I don't know. The Angel of Indian Lake, Stephen Graham Jones. This, again, is the third in the trilogy, the Indian Lake trilogy, and I want to finish it out. I love Stephen Graham Jones. He's one of my 5-star favorite all-time authors, so Let's go. Let's finish strong. Magnifico. This is a biography of Lorenzo de Medici, and I am reading it for a video that I'm doing where I'm trying to read all of my unread nonfiction history books, beginning with the books on the Italian Renaissance. So, yeah. She Like It claps. Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi, which is a stunning cover, by the way. I've been procrastinating on this for a very long time, even though I'm so interested in it, and I can't wait to get into it. One of my girlfriends, Nat or Liv, I forget which of them recommended this. They're both my friends that pick out a book from my physical TBR each month. They pick a book each for me to read and focus on. This was a May book, I believe. I forget who recommended it. Also, Nat and Liv's channels will be linked down below. Show them some love. And actually, speaking of Nat and Liv, this was Liv's pick for the month of June, Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. It's a short, sweet one. It's Pride Month. I am very, very long in the tooth of not having read this, and it'll actually be my first Chuck Tingle. So, unless I read Bury Your Gaze, which I'll go ahead and talk about because it's right here. I'm planning on reading the only 2 Chuck Tingles that I own this month. Happy Pride! Yeah, I'm very excited to get into both of these. I've heard nothing but great things about both of these, so we'll see where I land. And also the colors on this one are just stunning. And as for Nat's May pick on that was boyfriend material because she thinks that she's hilarious. No, I've had this for a while. I think I got this from like a thrift store, like a secondhand store, but I've heard so much about it and I'm pretty sure I'm really going to enjoy it. Lights Out. I've already started this one. I didn't subtract the pages from this count because I'm probably just gonna skim it and start over and skim it because it's been a little bit. I think I'm only like 40 something pages into it anyway. 30. Yeah, so I'll start it over and just skim it. Give myself a little bonus, I guess. But I love dark romance. I do love The Mask. I'm actually super hyped for this. I think I'm really gonna love it. I know Jan really didn't, as far as I remember, unless I'm totally wrong. I think I'm gonna love this. What else is your birthday month for, if not for spoiling yourself fictionally? Legends and Lattes. I guess that's all that needs to be said about that. No, but really, I've just taken way too long to read this. You'll notice that a lot about Shay's reading taste. I'll get to it 5 years from now. Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. This is the 3rd in the Wayfarers series, and I just really want to continue on with the series because I'd like to finish it out this year. I have a bunch of series I'd like to finish this year. It seems like kind of a summary sci-fi book. And Becky Chambers' work flies by really fast, so let's go for it. Speaking of Nat and sci-fi, we have Winter's Orbit. Nat so kindly sent this to me for me to read and check out this year, and it's just been staring at me on my shelf. And Nat, or you know the history of the channel, Nat has never steered me wrong on a recommendation, especially a romance recommendation. So Nat, you gotta keep coming for your own crown, babe. The Lies of Locke Lamora. This is a preview for my book ball in episode 2. Episode 1, down somewhere. It's somewhere around here. But this is one of the first picks from episode 2, and I am in a high fantasy, big fantasy kind of mood, in a vibe. So yeah, I'm ready to tackle this. I know this like scares and intimidates a lot of people, like it's been sitting on their bookshelves for years and stuff. I'm ready to dive into it. Especially because like all the books that I hear recommended in kind with this, like, oh, if you like this, then you'll like these books. I've read all those other books, and I love all those books. So I hope that it's right, and that it's reverse, and that I love this as well. Silver Under Nightfall. This is one of the ones that I am in the middle of, like almost 200 pages into, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really flying through it, so I just want to see it through. This was also one of their picks for Two Friends Choose My TBR, but I've been staring at this for a really long time, and so far I really am enjoying it. To the Myth, the Legend, the last one. Lover Eternal by J.R. Ward, Black Dagger Brotherhood, Book 2, back to my favorite vampy dark romance. I had such a good time with the first one. I don't know why I've been procrastinating on this one. Actually, I do know. It's because it's a mass market paperback, and I hate reading mass market paperbacks. But have you tried finding these in regular size paperbacks? If you do, send them my way. But I love this series so far, and I need to read it. So I'm excited to actually do it in this video. Like I said, I do have some more books here and there that I want to finish, that I want to work on, but those are the main ones. I should have included Return of the King in that. Oh well, that's what we're sticking with for right now. 17 books. If I finish these 17, they are off my TBR. And Shay, if that was 16 and Catching Fire counts as 17, you know what it is.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
So without further ado, let's get into our first day of reading. Hi, I lied to you. There is one more. Immortality, the second in the Anatomy duology by Dana Schwartz. I am already almost 200 pages into this as well, because I've been reading it at night. So That is included, and it was in the page count correctly, but this is the other one that I forgot to tell you about. I'm absolutely just flying through this, so I may try and get as close as I can to finishing in this tonight and just read 250 pages in this tonight. Hi, y'all. If you hear a screaming child in the background, don't panic. I have a dog that hates that I have a blockade up, and he can't be with me every second of every day, but he's right here in reaching distance. So if you hear him screaming, he's just being a baby. Alright, so an update about yesterday. I did not end up reading 247, nor did I end up reading 250 pages. I didn't even bring the book out here to talk to you about it. I'll talk to you about it tonight. I ended up reading 201 pages and finishing out Immortality. So I did finish one of the books. I did finish one of the books on this list, and that felt great. And I was 46 pages right from finishing it, or from like hitting my mark. However, I decided to count the pages that I had already read in Lights Out. That would be about 37 pages. So that would be about 9 pages that I had to make up for, because I'm going to skim those anyway. So I might as well like count them towards it, right? It's my logic, my rules. So anyway, tonight I have a lot of editing to do, but it is beautiful out here right now outside, and I have very bad summer cabin fever. So I'm just chilling outside in the nice weather, and I thought we would read outside here for a little bit. So I have a couple of books. I brought out Permanent Record and Magnifico and Bury Your Gaze. Now, I'm not expecting to do all 250 pages out here. I am just going to read as much as I feel like to be out here and get like a bunch done, because I still have to do my hour of book time before bedtime tonight, which will probably yield me, if I read in Silver Under Nightfall, will probably yield me almost half of this amount. The challenge is going to be doing this on weekends, because I don't do my book time on weekends. But during the days of the week, it's really going to help have it down. So I'm just going to do a little bit, just kind of vibe out and enjoy being outside. Not focus too much on the challenge, just genuinely enjoy being outside in this beautiful summer weather, sitting and being with my dogs, and just enjoying some good books. Hi y'all, it's the end of the night. It is the end of night 2, technically, and I'm about to go to bed, but let's give you a little update first, since I didn't give you one yesterday. Today, we more than made up for the lack that I had yesterday, because I ended up reading a whopping 261 pages today. So right now, we are a little over 500, something over 500 towards that, which is fan-freaking-tastic for day 2. Heck yeah. I started in a couple different books today, and I made progress in some more than others, but I started in Magnifico today. I read a chapter in this, about 20 pages, and I read a chapter in Bury Your Gaze, which was also about 20-something pages, 22 pages, I believe. The one I made the most progress in was Permanent Record. I started it and just plowed through to page 116. Yep, I just went for it. I really did just go for it. But that goes to show my point, right? Of like, it seems like a big number, but it depends on what you're reading, as if it flies by. Because you compare a book about Lorenzo de Medici, like 20 pages versus like 20 pages in a romance. The last book that I read tonight, that I read for my book time before bedtime, which will be a valuable ally during this whole challenge, because that is going to be my bread and butter, making up these pages. I ended up reading 90 pages during the hour, and then I kept reading until I got just over 100. So I read like 103 pages in this tonight. I should show you the book. Silver Under Nightfall. I read 103 pages in this tonight, which puts us just over the top at 261 pages. And look at that. She's so close to being done. I think that's about halfway through, actually. I think that's almost exactly about halfway through. That's crazy. It's a little over halfway through. Alright, should we talk about Immortality? This is the one that I finished last night. I read 201 pages, and I finished it last night. This is the second in the anatomy duology, and the last book in the duology. I won't tell you too much about the plot, because at this point it is a spoiler. This takes place in, like, Victorian Scotland and England, where in the first book we follow our main character Hazel as she disguises herself as a man because her dream is to like become a surgeon and like become a doctor, and so women aren't allowed to do those things. So the whole first book is about like her learning and becoming one, and also getting involved with this guy who seems to somehow live forever with this formula. And this book follows more of those shenanigans of the repercussions of her actually living her practice and then getting in trouble with it, and then being called into a higher political sphere to put her talents to use, and also being dragged into a world of schemes and plots and stuff. Overall, I thought this was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good ending to the duology. I'm happy the way that it ended up. I do have several problems with it that I'm not gonna rant about too much, but just to make things quick. Positively, the characters are super interesting. The world I still love. The writing is super bingeable. I'm very happy how this ended up, and it was a fun, enjoyable time to plow through and read. My problem is with the actual execution of the plot, because there are good plot points in here. There are good side characters and good side quests, if you will, side stories, not side stories, like minor plot points that are super interesting to follow and will play a certain part, right? Number one complaint, there's a love interest in here that I think she falls for way too quickly. Like, they both fall for each other way too quickly, and it does not make sense to me. I didn't feel the pull. I didn't feel the chemistry there. I didn't feel the connection. It was meant to be bittersweet when they kind of, like, part ways, and I couldn't relate. Like, it was cool to see a character take rejection so smoothly. However, it's like I never felt the pull in the first place. Like, it felt like there were no stakes there, you know? So that's a minor complaint though, and that may be just a taste thing because I am more of a slow burn cow. But my actual problems with this book lie in the plot. So there are some really interesting side plots in here, or minor plots that are very interesting, and they just aren't built upon or utilized in the right way, and the main plot that is utilized is not done to its best capability. The most I can tell you, while being super vague, is that in the last third of the book, there is a conflict happening. There is a potential solution being proposed, like a potential plan, right, in order to fix this thing. And it became the main plot. However, I don't think that it needed to be whatsoever. It could have been a side plot and still been immensely interesting. There were other ways you could have went around this that were much easier and much more interesting and could be much more elaborated on, even if you went further out. There's another way that you could have come across that would have given the characters more conflict, would have given them more depth. We could have went on a little bit of a longer journey with them as they hashed out certain feelings, as they hashed out this certain conflict, as they, actually worked on things. However, this was our given wrap around how to fix this. I wish I could tell you more, but that just really irked me, because it's not a bad plot point. It's just, I'm like, that's not what you should use that for, because it just seems kind of like, not a cop-out, but it's not the most interesting way. Like, it feels like, oh, well, that's convenient. But overall, I did enjoy this. I would recommend it. Like I said, it's bingeably readable. Both of the books are. So if you are looking for, and it also, like, isn't this supposed to be YA? Or leaning towards YA? New adult, young adult? Because if so, then I definitely take it even more so with grace, because if it is a younger reader work, like even new adult, I would still give it a little bit more grace, because I am old and crotchety. We got one book down in this video so far. One book down. Let's go. Good night. Hello, day 3 update. I want to let you know that I didn't read Jack yesterday, or is this day 4? I think it's day 4. It's day 4. I didn't read Jack yesterday because it was Saturday and my parents were here and we were getting a bunch of stuff done. And you know what? That's okay. This was our first test run of the weekend. Didn't go so good, but that's okay, because the day before, and I don't think I updated you, but I had a talk with back up Shay. The day before, yesterday, I ended up reading a total of 261 pages. Maybe I did talk to you about it, because I think I talked to you about what I actually read. But I came up with a method for how I'm going to tabulate when I go over, which is a good thing, right? So I'm going to keep a running total of the total number that we have, so 6,670, and how much I have read up until then, until we hit our goal, right? But I thought about it, and I was like, when I go over, such as hitting 261 instead of 250, do I want to count that 11 overage towards the next day, or just kind of stockpile it for when I need it, like, say, yesterday? And I think that is my answer. I think I want to just compile them and sort of stockpile them for when I may actually, need them. So today I need to read 500 pages. Or at least 489, which I feel a lot more comfortable kind of accomplishing, or at least getting much more closer to, because days are going to happen, right? Like on my birthday, I doubt I'm actually going to read 250 pages, but some days I'm going to be able to read more than others, and that's okay. It's just the goal to shoot for, So anyway, today is Sunday. If you can do basic week math, or if you're just short attention span like me, and you need a reminder. So today, what I am planning on reading, probably should have picked it up before I started videotaping, but I didn't. I feel like I'm going to continue in, let me just get it. Shay, just do your job. Today, I think I'm going to continue in reading Silver Under Nightfall, because it's starting to really heat up, and I'm getting close to finishing it. I say it's not like I'm just past the halfway point. I need to continue in Permanent Record, because again, I am flying through this. So I feel like if I do this today, I can eat up a lot of what I was behind in. Bury Your Gaze, I'm just really curious to see where this is gonna go, and I really want to finish it for my birthday. And I want to slowly work my way through Magnifico, so I think I'm just gonna challenge myself to like read a chapter, maybe two, today, because I don't want to go too fast into it, like I don't want to blow through and not really remember what I read. However, I am getting the inkling to start something else today, and I don't know what. Maybe what I'll do later today and kind of make up lost pages is to try a chapter in all my books. Like, try the ones that I haven't started yet and, like, try a chapter, and then I can pick the one that I'm going to have on deck next. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to see which one I can get on audio to kind of help me along whenever I'm going back and forth to work, because that's going to be valuable reading time. But maybe that's what I'll do, because that will help me slowly eat into the page count, right? 489. If we use that 11 today. We're going to see where we get to. If I end up reading 500 today, then I'm going to save that 11. In an ideal world, I'd read more than 500, right? So I could keep stockpiling, but we're going to be realistic. So yeah, that's the plan today, is reading those. Probably try a chapter first, that way I can bolster myself with stuff, because that's what I'm feeling. I feel like that'll be a lot of small wins. Okay, I'll check in with you whenever we do that. But so far, it's going really well, and I'm proud of all my progress, because I've already finished one book, right? So I feel like, too, if I keep making substantial progress in each of them, I'm going to be finishing. This is where Shay gets stuck, right? And this is where it was nice to have my experiment of doing one book at a time, but it also drove me crazy. I kind of like it's stressful to be like, I have so many I'm in the middle of, but when you finish them back to back, like bam, 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 it's such a good dopamine feeling, and I need to stop doing it because of the dopamine. Shay, quit it, quit it, quit it, quit it, quit it. No, she's not going to. She's not going to. Hello. I promised I'd come to you at the end of the day with an update. And an update I do have at said end of day. And the update is that I have read nothing else in my physical books. That's a lie. I read 20 pages or so in Catch and Far. Almost, no, actually it was more like 30, 33 something pages. But while it's kind of in this stack, I didn't include it in the total number, I don't think, when I was adding up the numbers for the equation. So I can't really count towards this, because I'm really just counting towards these. Now you're like, Shay, what did you do with the rest of your night? Not that I need to explain or defend or whatever to you, but if you're curious, which clearly you are, I kind of binge read on Sunday's She Picked Flowers, because it was due tonight at 10:44, and I had 100 pages to go, so I was like speed reading. And now it's like 11:30, and I have to go to work in the morning, like a normal human being, and so I don't have time to do the try chapter or whatever. I thought I might do some kind of compromise where I read a few and try it, but I just need to go to bed. I haven't been sleeping that great, so I need to go to bed to start the week off right. And if I want to stay up tomorrow and read, then I really need to get some sleep tonight. Right? So I did a little bit of a further compromise. I went on Libby and I went on Spotify. I hate using Spotify. I try not to use Spotify as much as possible, but for audiobooks, I might as well use that 15 that I'm paying for, right? Because I have to have it for work. Love working in audio. Anyway, so I mainly went to Libby. I went to Spotify and then I went to Libby, and I got all the audiobooks I could for all of the TBR that I could find in the stack. Now, some I didn't because I don't want an audio with it, but all the ones that I think I would enjoy on audio that I could find, I got. So I got The Lies of Locke Lamora, I think. I got Record of a Spaceborne Few. I got Winter's Orbit. I got Legends and Lattes. I got something else. I got a lot of stuff. At the least, I will have an hour of driving time tomorrow going back and forth to work, so that is 3 hours of audiobook time at the least. I plan on starting and finishing Legends and Lattes tomorrow, so that'll take out a good chunk. And then when I come home, I'll have stuff to do, but I'm going to read as much as possible tomorrow, and we're just going to be chipping away. I'm not going to try and worry about making things up. Maybe that's what I should stop worrying about trying to make things up, and I should just try and start fresh of hitting that 250 every day, but like try and hit like a little bit over, that way I chip away at the deficit. I think that's a better way to framework it in my mind. That way I'm not stressing out about reading more and more and more and piling on more and more and more. Look at me figuring this stuff early on now out in the game, rather than like 50 days into the My hair looks great. I'm in one of my favorite No Cure shirts, Alabama Hardcore. If you're into hardcore, you should check them out, but if you're into hardcore, you probably know about them. All that to say, I got new bedspread on for summer quilt, new sheets, new bed skirt. I'm feeling great. And since I'm in such a good mood, I just want to go sleep. Is that too much for a girl to ask? No. And if it is, shoo with you. Be gone! Shoo, I say! So I'm gonna go to bed. And I'm gonna get some good sleep. And then I will check in with you tomorrow, bright and early. And I'm gonna start a notepad. I'm gonna write down how far behind I am right now. That way I don't get messed up. And we'll start fresh tomorrow. Looking for 250 pages and whatever extra I can chip away. I think that sounds good. And then at the end of the video, I just add up all the extra that I have, and we can subtract it from the deficit if there is any deficit. Look at me, big brain. I went to Georgetown. That's the first time I can say that, like, positively. Good morning. I have fortuitous news. Kind of. Not for my bank account, but for you, and for me, sort of. I got told that I wasn't needed to work today because there's not much going on in the way of events, so there's not really much going on around the venue. And my manager was like, yeah, if you need hours like later in the week, like we can do that, but there's nothing really going on today. So I was like, okay, I'll stay home because God knows I have plenty to work on. And it was very fortuitous. I take it as a blessing from God, from the universe, from my spirits, from my angels, that I can use today to really catch up on some stuff. Like, I take it as like an early birthday gift, that I can stay at home and read and really enjoy it. And after I heard that, I felt so really like motivated and productive this morning. And now it's lunchtime, and I'm feeling like a little anxious and overstimulated. And I think it's waiting mode coming from like, when do I need to let my dogs out? And it's like, girl, most people leave their dogs in for 8-9 hours a day. You're stressing about leaving them in for 2 or 3, or letting them run around. Like, I didn't need to go on that rant. But like I said, I'm kind of like all over the place. And I think it's because I need to eat. So I'm probably just going to come back and be like, wow, cringe. Second, I think it's the waiting mode about that. But I'm telling myself, I'm like, girl, we are accomplishing so much more than what we thought we were going to get done today. Because usually I work till like 4 or 5, sometimes 3, it depends. And by the time I come home, I'd have to deal with the dogs, and I'd want to play with them, and I'd want to spend some time outside, and then I'd have to get my video done, and then I'd be stressing about getting enough reading done and prepping other work. And it's like, girl, it's not even 1 o'clock. I've already finished my May monthly wrap-up. It is exporting right now, probably going to upload either tonight or tomorrow, and I've got 90 pages in Legends of the Lattes done. just like listening to the audiobook while gaming. Like, girl, we're Gucci. We're so good compared to what I thought I would have gotten done this morning. But I'll probably like read a couple of chapters, but not really do much else by the time I had to go to work. So like, we're already ahead of the game. And I'm just taking a pause now. So all that to say, I'm enjoying Legends and Lattes. I really do think I'm going to finish it today. I don't think we'll have a problem hitting our 250 page thing today, considering that I'm already 90 pages in. You know? Like, I don't want to get too cocky, but that's kind of how I feel. And I think the next one I'm going to read, besides Legends and Lattes, I think I'm going to work on, like, Permanent Records, Silver Under Nightfall, all of that, just to keep going. But that's the mood this morning. So I'm going to eat, and hopefully I'm going to feel better. But in terms of reading, and in terms of feeling good about that, I'm feeling great, because it's kind of it's like a stormy day. That doesn't look stormy. It's really gloomy. There you go. You can kind of see how gloomy it is, even though it still looks... Calm down, you. There you go. That's better. Gloomy reading day today. So I'm taking it as an early birthday gift to me that it is perfect, cozy reading weather. I've got Skyrim vibes on, and I'm just having a time. So I'll check in with you either when I finish a book or just at the end of the day. Bye.
We have gotten great progress, which means it's about time. You know what? Actually, wait. Oh, I'm gonna have a brain blast. I did the thing that I said I wasn't going to do, which is start an episode before I know what I'm doing. And I just think that I'm going to wing it every time, and it never works out that way. So, give me a second. You go into the waiting room.
And y'all wonder why I'm like this with my reading challenges. Just dive in. Figure out the rules later.
Okay. Hey, you're welcome in now. Sorry about that. Busy day.
One of the things I love about this geography is that when clouds have to go over the hill, especially rain clouds, you see them pick up. You see, like, the wall. It's not a wall, but you see, like, the line of the cloud pick up to go over the trees. It's so cool to watch. Hi y'all, I have really great news. We have finished Legends and Lattes. And I must admit something to you, when I started this today, I didn't really start it. I had already read 16 pages in it, because I had read the first chapter in trying a chapter in whatever book's video or clip or whatever. But I finished this. I finished this in one day. And it's a total of 312 pages. So if you want to subtract 16 from that, or 12, whatever it was it 12? Was it 16? It was 16. I just said 16, right? If we want to be completely honest and subtract 16, that is 12 minus 4, 296. So I'm still 46 pages over. So I'm making good progress on that deficit. And guess what, babes? It's only 9:19, but like it's so dark because I cut the lights off to be super cozy that it feels so much later. And I'm like, I'm gonna go edit now and get some more stuff done and then read a little bit more tonight. Because even if I don't read anything else tonight, I'm planning on reading tonight. Like, I just got my notification for book time before bedtime, and I've already finished a book today. I feel so accomplished. I do feel so accomplished. And now, like, I want to go do more stuff on my laptop before I get into reading. But I'm here to say we have successfully reached our number today. Hell yeah. This is where I always run into trouble because I don't ever want to repeat myself too often because I typically have books that appear in multiple vlogs. And so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of this because this video is going to be long enough as is. This was a cozy 5-star. I'm leaning towards 4.5, rounded up to 5. I really enjoyed the world, and I'm glad that I took the extra pages to read the author's Q&A at the end, because they described the inspiration for it as wanting a slowed down version. What was it? Something, oh my god, I just read it, Shay. I just read it. a Hallmark Channel story set in the Forgotten Realms. And I just started reading the Forgotten Realms this year. Literally, like, the past video, my past vlog. Go check out my past vlog. Link up in cards above. I started reading the Forgotten Realms literally like last month. Literally last month I read my first Forgotten Realms novel. So I totally understand what he's getting at, and I love it. I could totally see how this fit that description. It really, really was. And as someone who loves character work, as someone who loves filler, this is right up my alley. I'm not really... I don't want to say that I'm not a cozy fantasy or cozy genre person, because I don't think I've read enough of the general genre to make a call. But if this is any indicator, this is a really good start. I don't think it's something that I'll always be in the mood for, but I think if I am in the mood for it, then I will really enjoy it. Because I do love when things are slowed down, when we just have a few, days glimpsed in the life of people. We get to know them, we get to know their circumstances, their world. I love building on that, and I love learning that. This had good world building, and I liked the characters. However, maybe it's the fact that I do want more surrounding them. And the bonus story at the back really helped kind of round it out, because we get the origins of this. The prose was beautiful. I liked the pacing, and I did like the thickness of this world. However, sometimes I wish we got to marinate in a little bit more broader view of it and then zoom in, rather than just focus on the consistent day-to-day minute details, which I understand are part of the cozy genre, but I wish we could have zoomed out in some aspects to really just see how they play like a larger part in like this area, in this city. Not like anything dramatic, not any big events or anything like that, but I would have just liked to have, a little bit more, because we did get glimpses of that with the people that they met along the way and the people that they got involved with. I would have loved to have a little bit more details, like Thimbit's recipes, where tell me a little bit more about the ingredients. Tell me about, in this certain land, these farmers use this to make this nutmeg, and it makes it because of this. And in a different country, they make the cake like this, and, stuff like that. Just a few little sprinkles here and there would have really, I think, given it the extra oomph. But being that as it is, I did really enjoy following with this. I enjoyed following along with this, and I would check out the next book, which I guess is technically but not technically like a prequel. So it's got a good 4.5 stars from me. Tonight, I'm just going to keep reading Impermanent Record and Silver Under Nightfall and In Magnifico. I'll talk to you whenever I get a final count for tonight, but really I'm just kind of reading for vibes and reading to get ahead on that deficit. I just wanted to say, it is now 10:30 at night, and I am EBCB. I am very EBCB. The missile is EP. The missile is long day. The missile has had a long day, but my video is currently pre-rendering the video that I am going to have to edit straight through tomorrow, which is going to be fun, but I think I can do it if I get off work early enough and just hibernate, because it's going up Wednesday, and then I have a video going up tomorrow, but it's basically done. I just need to do the thumbnail. Anyway, all that to say, I kind of need to get in bed early tonight, but I still have a good 30 minutes, a little bit over 30 minutes, and because I want to be in bed by 11. I want to be ready for sleep by 11, and then I want to be asleep before 12. And because I'm really trying to get 7 to 8 hours a night. I'm trying. You're sitting on the pile of books right now. I'm not going to do any B-roll, but I am going to sit here and read at least a chapter in most of these, or try while my video is rendering, and then I'll update you with a final page count. Also, look at me. I changed out of a hoodie and actually into a shirt. Who would have thunk it? So here's the plan. Do you like my new summer bedspread quilt? It looks very yellow on camera, but it's it's a peach. I promise. You're gonna have to trust me. It's like a peach. I'm gonna finish reading a chapter in this, because I started reading today, and I've already read 20-something pages in there, and read another chapter in this at least. Maybe 2 in these, because they're kind of short. I may read a chapter in this. Probably not, if I'm being honest. I feel like it's going to take more brain power than what I have right now. And I want to read at least one chapter in this guy. Just one. Because I need to save my brain power. So, these are easy. Brain power. Let's go. I'm picking your nose, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, I'm picking your nose. Okay, y'all. So this is a pretty good way to end the night. I read a few chapters in a lot of things. I only read 11 pages of this before I started falling asleep. And our grand total for today, I am very proud to say, is 379 pages. 379. 379. We got a bonus of 129. Add that to the deficit counter. Add that. What is the total that we're at? I don't know. Editing Shay will have it up here. But that is a really good dent towards the deficit that we have. So, tomorrow's a new day. We'll see what the 250 holds for us then, especially because I have so much editing to do. But that's why I have audiobooks, right? That's why I have audiobooks. And I'm looking forward to seeing what I finish next. I'm gonna go to bed now. Good night. Okay, night 9. How are we doing so far? It is 11:01 p.m. and I have read only 104 pages today. However, I don't have to get up early in the morning. I can do whatever I want because I'm free from work and all that kind of stuff. I can stay up a little bit later tonight and read the other 150 pages, which I don't think will be really any problem tonight. Maybe have me up a little bit past midnight, but I think that I can do it, especially depending on what I read. Either way, I'm not that pressed about it. The 104 pages that I've read so far have all been in Barrier Gaze, which I am really enjoying so far. However, I am about 40% in, which is where a bunch of my friends have said it started dragging for them, which I feel like we're about to get to a lull where it's going to be like they think that they outrun whatever is chasing them. I don't know, like they're going to outsmart it and outmaneuver it, and so there's going to be a lull, like, while it actually builds up and building up the tension and something brewing under the surface. But so far, I'm really enjoying this. I'm loving the meta horror of it. It's really creepy, but it's not unsettling creepy. It's just like, ooh, I don't like that. And as someone who is also a creative, if I was confronted with things that I had made coming to life, I would also be uber boned. You know what I mean? That being said, though, tonight, I thought in a way to help us pass some of the time and some of the pages, I would do my try chapter. Now, I'm not going to do it in every single book. It's going to take too long. I do want to read in these 3 tonight, like even just a chapter, and that, believe me, that will wear that 150 down real quick. However, the ones that I do want to try a chapter in tonight are all 4 of these. I want to start in Record of a Spaceborne Few, Boyfriend Material, Lies of Locke Lamora, and Winter's Orbit. Now, let Shay do some quick math, and Shay will get back to you on how much of an actual page count that will be. Okay, so if I just read one chapter in all these, that's 33 pages alone, because some of them are really short chapters. So I might end up reading 5 chapters instead. No, we're just gonna do the chapter taste test, and then I'm gonna read like the 100 pages or whatever in those 3 books. So let's get started on it, and I'll let you know what I think. I think I might have to do this one. I haven't even picked up the other 3. This first chapter, a page and a half, it has me already. It has me. It's, what did I just read? That was giving the same kind of vibes of humor and grit that I love in Mark Lawrence's work. This is a top contender. She's a top contender. I love you, Nat. I love you much. Alright, y'all. It is past time for me to go to bed. However, I do have really good news. I ended up reading a total of 252 pages today, so we just have, a little bit over the edge, but still, we hit our goal, and that's the important part. And the results of the first chapter experiment are that I think I'm liking either Winter's Orbit or Lies of Locke Lamora as like my next focus books, because those were really, really, really intriguing with the setup. And Boyfriend Material, I'm not quite sure how I'm vibing with it yet. I don't love it. I'm gonna say that. I don't love the writing style. And also Silver Under Nightfall's kind of getting on my nerves with all the horn dogness that just seems to just not make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I don't feel the chemistry between all three of them. Not to this level. Not to the emotional pull. If it was just lust, I can understand. But they're talking about, like, it has this, like, heavy emotional undercurrent and pull, and I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Like, the farther we go, yes, but, like, the graph, the relationship is not necessarily inverse, but the relationship, like, if you were to chart it on a graph, just, it's constantly, like, fluctuating in the way that it is. And so it's like, oh, well, the emotional pool is, like, up here, and it's like, and the lust is, like, you know, up there, and it's just, it's not making sense. It has an inverse relationship with, like, how they're trying to justify. Like, I am just now with the conversations that they're having with each other, I'm like, okay, now I would believe the more emotional pull, like, of the lust. But you're doing this as an afterthought. So I'm not vibing with that. It's losing me. It's still a 4 out of 5, but I hope it turns itself around, because that's just really disappointing and irritating. So I'm like, why are y'all such horn dogs? And I love dark romance. I love smut no plot. However, when you try to, like, make it seem like it's such an important emotional thing, and that they have all these feelings towards each other, make me believe it. Make me believe it. Whose song is that? That's Beartooth, you idiot. It's a Beartooth B-side. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, oh. Good night. It's almost 1 a.m. Good night. Listen, we are in a serious deficit on this 250 pages a day thing, and I mean serious, okay? But I have to drive to Nashville right now. Like, now. Because I'm going to the first annual 615 Day, which is being hosted by a bunch of cool people. It's a bunch of local Nashville hardcore bands, and just like a celebration of Nashville hardcore. So, of course, I'm going. And that means it's about a 2-hour drive for me to come from where I live and get across Nashville. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine and dandy. It's amazeballs. And that just means that I'm going to have a lot of audiobook time. A lot of audiobook time. But I'm not going to lie, I kind of just want to listen to music and not an audiobook. But I will listen to an audiobook or something. I don't know. Like, I'm like, oh, I need to listen to an audiobook. I plan on listening to an audiobook, even though I really don't want to. I'd rather just listen to music. Maybe I'll alternate, like, between red lights and stuff. I don't know. But that's where we're at right now. Support your local hardcore. Southeast hardcore. Okay, bye. Hi. It's been a little bit. Actually, it hasn't been too much, but it's been just a little bit, like a day or so. I am so far behind, it's not even funny. And actually, I've just considered, like, ixnaying this challenge altogether. Just because, like, lately, I haven't mentally been doing super great. As in, like, I'm just tired a lot. And I have a lot of other stuff on my mind to get done. And I just feel kind of, you know, pulled like Gumby in all directions. That's what I mean. Like, otherwise, I'm fine. It's more of not mentally prioritizing well is how I should phrase it. Stretched thin, you know, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, as in, I'm so glad I have so many things I'm so excited I'm working on. Bad, because I feel like I'm making progress in that. And that's not true. And so I have to reframe my thinking. But also, my sleep has been disrupted for several nights in a row. I have not been eating that great. And so I'm just being kind to myself and being like, okay, I'm acknowledging this is how I'm feeling. Does it make it the reality? No, but it makes it the reality for the moment. And I need to at least acknowledge it instead of being like, no, you don't. I'm like, yes, I am. Yeah, but let's move on from that. All that to say, I feel so behind, I almost want to quit. Because I'm like, I just don't feel like reading. I just don't feel like doing this and this and this. Like, I just want to sit on my couch and stare at a wall. That obviously cannot happen. So I need, and it's not that I feel an obligation to, like, I have to do this or I have to do these videos. It's like, I know I want to, I just know that I'm in this funk that is making me be like a petulant child, being like, no, I don't want to. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna keep doing this. I have no idea where I am on the counter right now. I know it's almost 2,000 pages in the deficit, though. I'm just gonna keep this going, and we are just gonna go through to the end of the month, no matter how much I succeed, no matter how much I fail, because it doesn't matter if I do hit every single book, or it doesn't matter if I hit every single page. Sometimes you just don't, and I want to see how far I can go. I want to see how much I will succeed. I want to see how much I will get done without trying to stress myself out or hit a certain goal or hit a certain idea. Because sometimes you just won't. Sometimes you just won't, and that's okay. I want to see how much I can do, and I want to be proud of that fact. Because, girl, who are you gonna get punished for not hitting this? No! It's me! I'm the call from inside my own house! Like, it's fine. There's no absolute expectation. There's not like a giant sponsorship waiting at the end or like a giant trophy if I don't, like, if I hit every single book and I read over the page count. Like, girl, calm down. It's not that serious. Whether or not I actually hit the goal or read all those books, we'll see. And I am going to end it at the end of the month. I'm not going to do a thing where I carry it over and I'm like, no, I'm going to keep going until I read all these books, because I don't have time for that. I don't. And I need to be strict to myself about that. Shay, are you listening to me, future Shay? So we're going to start today fresh. Again, another 200 pages. So during the 615 day show, I didn't feel like listening to an audiobook. My head, my mental space was just not there. I was like, I just want to listen to some music. And so I did. I did read some. I did listen to a good part of an audiobook, but I need to tabulate how much that was. I'm thinking it was probably 40 to 50 pages at most, but it's not zero. Yesterday, I didn't read jack. So we're back with another 250. Today, I'm feeling a little bit more myself because I actually got some proper sleep and I'm about to get coffee and some proper food in me, and my schedule is going to be back to normal. So I am going to be doing some reading today, but I also have a video I need to get up today, and I have a video I need to get done today, and all that. But we'll have time for reading in between, and we'll see what we get done. And we're going to have a good day. We are going to have a good day. Do you understand me? That's going to start with a good cup of coffee and good breakfast. You like my new Orthodox shirt? I got a bunch more merch at that show, much more than I planned to. But I'm supporting local friends, okay? I'm supporting local artists, and I'm supporting cool hardcore music. Okay, I'll check in with you later today. Okay, bye. I have an update for you, which is that we have not done super well. But you know what? That's okay, because it's not the end of the month yet. It is, I don't know why I'm looking at my watch, because it doesn't have a date on it. But it is June 19th. It's Juneteenth. So we still have time to go. To me, I'm like, it's like the middle of the month. It's like the middle of the month. Because my birthday was like, we had like a whole weekend and stuff for my birthday, right? Doing stuff with my family and friends and stuff. So it's fine. It's fine. 2 days before, which I have not updated you on, I pretty much read 30 to 40 pages each day. I'll break that down a little bit later. I just wanted to make this quick update right now. So not great, but it was they were non-zero days. So that's better than nothing, right? Yesterday, I almost hit 250. Yesterday, I read 180 pages in Record of a Spaceborne Few. So we're only 70 behind on that deficit. You can see the mark of how much I read, because I wanted to keep a record for myself. And I fully think that I could finish this today. I fully plan on hitting 250 today by finishing this and something else. Especially because yesterday was like the first day I had all week where I was home all day. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I was pretty much just like working my tail off. And because I got sort of promoted to a new position at work, so in handling a bunch of that, life has been wild in that new position of coordination. So I need to finish editing a video today so it can go up tomorrow. I just have to go through and like dummy edit it, dummy check it, and then export it and upload it. And I need to work out, which I'm fixing to go do right now. That way I can get it done and over with before too late in the day. And then I need to finish up that video. And then I need to film a lot. I need to film my birthday book haul because I'm tired of all this stuff in my floor. I have also been loving The Lies of Locke Lamora. Right now I'm only like 70 something pages into it. I don't have a bookmark in here yet, but I know where I am by looking at the pages. 72. I am 72 pages into The Lies of Locke Lamora, and I'm really enjoying it, and the audiobook is really good, but I think that I want to actually physically read this, because the audiobook goes by so slowly. Like, I think I've read like 100 pages in it, and it's like, you've read 10. It's like, huh? So I think I'm actually going to try and read these physically today instead of just relying on audiobooks. Even though audiobooks have been incredibly helpful and awesome, I'm gonna go work out because we're wasting time. It's already 10. It's almost 11. And by the time that I'm going to get finished my workout, it's already going to be 1 o'clock. So let's break, team. Go! Hi, I'm here, as promised. And it's not even 11 p.m. yet. And it's a Friday night. So you know what that means. At home alone, reading to my heart's content. I have not read like a single page today. Not a single one. I do not think. Thank you, Teddy. I am going to lay here. And I'm just going to read In Record of a Spaceborne Few, and The Lies of Locke Lamora, and maybe Permanent Record if my brain starts to go to rest early. But these are the two that we're going to start on. I'm going to try my very, very dearest to hit 250 before we go to bed at night. Hopefully, 300, if not more. I'm just going to read until I get tired enough to not read. Go, let's do it. Let's do it to it, fam. Hi, friends. I'm here to update you before I go to bed because I'm waiting on the lotion on my tattoo to dry before I go to sleep, even though it is 1:12 a.m. I know, I need to really fix my sleep schedule, but while I'm waiting a little bit for it to dry, I figured I would give you an update because I've been really bad about updating this vlog to the point where I've thought about just scrapping it. And I still might, but I'm going to try to turn it around because we've still got 10 days? We've got like 10 days that I can really turn it around in the latter half. And you know what? Shay has a tendency to make Spielberg level vlogs, right? And really, I should just look at this as like giving myself a break to have less to edit, right? Okay, well, that's how we're gonna take it. So last night, I ended up reading a total of, I had it in my head, and then it was gone. 136 plus 24, that would be 160, right? Because 4, the 10, and 20? Yes. I read 160 pages last night. 24 in The Lies of Locke Lamora, and then I started getting really sleepy, and so I just called it on that. And then I read 126, whatever I said it was, and finished out Record of a Spaceborne Few. So that makes another book that I have finished. I also finished Bury Your Gaze. I have not yet talked to you about it. I will. Just like I will talk to you about this in the morning whenever I have more actual time to talk. I'll do a double update on that. So far, I am really, really enjoying this. It's just that, like, the audiobook goes by so slowly because there's so much detail and the prose is really thick. I really think that and I'm loving it, but I think I would be flying through this so much faster if I was reading it physically. And I do want to fly through it. I'm going to try and finish as many of these as I can in the last, like, 10 days. I think it's possible. I think it's absolutely possible. I'm going to go to bed. I have read 24 pages today because I just listened to an audiobook. Most of my day was spent finishing up the edits for, well, I was going to say tomorrow, but today's video, and the 31 days video. And then I went to go see Hamilton for the first time as a late birthday present from a cousin of mine, and it was a very awesome experience, but I did not get home till like 6 p.m. And so then I had time to have dinner, to upload the video, and do all that, make sure the dogs were all good, and they had their activity time, and then just also have time to eat dinner, and then time to decompress and stuff. So, but I was also making Father's Day stuff, because that's tomorrow, and so I was doing that, and while I was doing that, I listened to some of this audiobook. But I listened to like an hour of the audiobook on like 3x speed. 24 pages. So, tomorrow, after my parents leave, because my parents are coming down, so obviously a big part of the day is going to be spent, like, hanging with my dad because it's Father's Day, but I really am going to try and work on this, like, physically, and also try and work on a lot of video projects. I feel like everything has gone kind of, like topsy-turvy a lot lately. See, like this happens when things are topsy-turvy, and it's getting worse. The topsy-turvy will only get better from here, though. I'm going to go to bed. Good night. I am wearing a sleep set because this is who I am now. You know, it's June 21st, start of the summer solstice. Baby, I'm in full Gemini, full summer mode. That also means we have 8 more days to finish this challenge. Would you like to know how we're doing so far? I'm sure the editing Shay will be very happy to put up the numbers of where we were at. Looks better, Shay, what our deficit is. But to put it in a visualization, I want to show you, just to celebrate for a moment, what we finished so far. So far this month, we have finished this many. 4 out of 17. 4 out of 17. Not fantastic. However, I am in the middle of a bunch of these. Like, for instance, permanent record, I'm literally halfway through. Like, come on. It's fine. My birthday week and all that is over. It's not all bad. Like, I got a little bit of a promotion at work, and so that's been kind of chaotic to deal with. However, I am not giving up yet, because I put it in perspective like this. I thought to myself so many times about, like, scrapping this video and whatever, just because, like, it has not gone according to plan, but when does this challenge on the Shade channel ever do? And if you like that kind of chaos, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. That way you can make sure to stick around and see whatever chaos might be in store next time. I thought to myself, wow, matching my cup? Queen! Yikes. Need something stronger in this cup. Just to deal with me. Counting today, there's still like 10-ish days in the month. That's like 1/3 of the month, because there's 30 days. 1/3. I still have 1/3 of the month left to, even if I don't fully finish this, to do as much as I possibly can. Why would I not? Why would I give up? Mama didn't raise a coward, nor did she raise a quitter. So, that's what we're doing. That's what we're here to do, baby. It just turned 10 o'clock tonight, which means that I'm already ready for bed and everything. I've already washed my main dishes, except for this, and obviously I need to brush my teeth after this, and the bathroom and all that kind of bedtime routine stuff, but everything else, everything in the house is settled. I'm ready to get into bed and read. And I'm comfortable reading till about midnight. I probably shouldn't, but everything else is ready for bed. So, read to around midnight, so about 2-ish hours. But since I haven't talked to you in a while, I want to catch you up on what I have finished. I've talked to you, because there are 2 things that I have finished, and I didn't talk to you halfway through them, as I should have. So let's talk now. Shall we? Finish. Let's go in chronological order, Shay. That would be nice. I finished Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. I struggled between giving it 4 or 5 stars, and I'm not going to delve too much into this here in the vlog, because this is going to be so close to my June wrap-up. So if you want to see more fleshed out thoughts, make sure you hit that wrap-up video. Make sure you watch that. But I will tell you some here. So this, I struggled to give it either 4 or 5 stars, but really, I gave it 5. I see what people meant by the loss in pacing around 40%, but also I didn't. Like that, I kept waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, and it slowed down a little bit, but to me it wasn't an issue, because to me it felt like the silence that was needed to kind of take that breath. It wasn't a comedic relief, it wasn't like a total relief of tension, but it was that moment to, right before you scream, because you gotta have the breath intake to scream, otherwise you can't scream. So I enjoyed it, and I will keep thinking about this, the meta aspect of it. Did I see where it was going about halfway through? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I predicted it. I predicted it even before 50% of the way in. Like, who the grand villain was and what the kind of gist was gonna be. But I still loved it. And I love messages and themes like that. Taking on the man, taking on invasion of privacy, especially with technology, and the discussion of free will and agency, and just really going up against, you know, the oppressors who would try to undignify that or take it away. I wish we would have gotten more about the monsters. It was such an interesting concept for these monsters to come to life, to be given their lore after they've already come to life, to suddenly come to terms with the information regarding them and the lore and the stakes as they're presented to us. That way we feel the fear in real time. We don't have time to have prior knowledge to where it's like, oh, we know this person's there, so that means this horrifying thing. No, we're slowly learning the horror as it happens. And that was one of my big praises of Iron Lung, was that it didn't hold our hand for the horror. It just let us see it as it happened, and then we felt the moment when it happened. So for instance, there's something that I would compare it to, if you've seen Iron Lung, which if you haven't, what are you doing? You can rent it and buy it now on YouTube, depending on your country. It's fantastic. I am not sponsored by Mark. I am not paid by Mark. I just love Iron Lung. There's a moment in Iron Lung, in the actual Iron Lung, where Simon is just like standing there, he's kind of defeated, and he's really depressed, and he's having a really rough time, and in the quiet, there's oxygen levels, right, like lit up by lights, and suddenly you just see one of those lights tick down, and it's the first time you notice it, and you're left with the horror in the moment of like, he's gonna run out of oxygen. And that's the effect that not having prior knowledge of these monsters beforehand did, and learning about them in the moment and what was really at stake. So I totally enjoyed this. I thought it was a fascinating concept. This was my first delve into Chuck Tingle's writing, besides the velociraptors and T-Rexes and all that. That was how I first ever heard of Chuck Tingle. Yeah, I'm that old. But this was my first delve into like Chuck Tingle horror, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited for Camp Damascus, and this will be staying with me. I feel like there's more I can get out of this, and I don't feel like it left me with less. I just feel like I need to read it again next year. I need to give it time to settle, and I need to read it again next year. Because I felt like it gave me elements that I wanted from Paul Tremblay's horror movie. I felt like it gave me some of the elements that I wanted from that, some of the meat. However, I feel like there was something in horror movie that I can't quite name right now that I'm thinking about it, that was missing from here. Maybe it's just the fact of like more unknown tension, like something that is quietly creeping in the background rather than an overt threat. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about it. But either way, this was 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see Camp Damascus. Becky Chambers, Record of a Spaceborne Few. This is book 3 in the Wayfarer series. I almost tripped up and said trilogy. Don't do that. In the Wayfarers series. And look, we're kind of matching again. I love this series. Since all these books like take place in the same universe, and we see repetitions of the characters, like we get cameos from the characters, but they each follow a different plot and a different cast of characters. They're just all kind of in the same universe. So this really follows a cast of characters who are living on the Exodus fleet, which is just this fleet, this big hex where humanity has kind of settled after they left Earth. One of the many fleets where humans have kind of settled in this mini universe, if you will, to survive instead of being on planet side. Like they're in like a big spaceship kind of hub community thing. And we follow a variety of cast of characters. So we follow the sister of one of the characters from the first book. We follow someone who has migrated to this fleet, who had ancestors there that then left, and so they're coming back to try and find their place. Follow a young kid who was born and raised there, but who longs for more. And Becky Chambers does what Becky Chambers does the absolute best. Absolute banger character work. Taking me by the hand, not leading me, but taking me by the hand, and letting me trust them to take me on a journey that is absolutely going to be worth it. About a quarter into this, I was kind of like, where is this going? But I should have trusted. I should have trusted. The way it all came together was really cool. And it didn't really, this, I would say, is a little bit more challenging cozy than the other two. The other two felt like they had a little bit more meatier stakes. Just a little bit. I'm not talking like high action stuff like that, but it felt like it had a little bit more tension, a little bit more like stake in the meat, you know? It was a quieter tension, because it was still tension. It dealt a lot with death and grief. So if you're dealing with that, you're sensitive to that, don't, maybe wait to read this book. It dealt a lot with death and grief. So it had a lot of tension to it, but was more of a quieter, internal kind of tension. And fantastic work. I loved getting to know these characters, as I have in every single book. I loved getting to see their journey and where they were going to go and how it all came together. And I'm glad I went on this ride. It was fun. This is what we have so far. Alright, but that is where we are starting off tonight. And now it's almost 10:20, so I've lost about 10 minutes and just yapping. Tonight, what we are going to work on. We are going to work on A Winter's Orbit, The Lies of Loch Lamora, Silver Under Nightfall, and Permanent Record. This is a perfect example of, like, I'm so close to finishing it, and I will, because y'all. And then The Lies of Loch Lamora, I am super enjoying. The audiobook is 22 hours. Why? I thought I listened to an hour of the audiobook last night while I was doing, I told y'all, while I was making Father's Day stuff. Tell me why it was only like 24 pages. Tell me why. I could have read that so much faster with my eyes. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read it with my eyes tonight. However, this does tend to make me very sleepy. High fantasy, whenever I'm about to go to bed, tends to just make me very sleepy because, I mean, there's a lot going on. I'll read at least a few chapters in here. I hope to at least get to, like, the next interlude or the next book or whatever it's called. Yeah, book 2 starts with a Shakespeare quote. is how many pages? 27 pages. My goal is to read at least 300 pages tonight before I go to bed, hopefully. Hopefully. If I don't, oh well. But that's kind of the plan. So, I am another chapter ahead in this. Did I add this up? Probably not. So I've read 12 more pages. Shay, if we have not properly counted this in another day, count this 12 towards today. It's not gonna matter. It's gonna all come out in the end anyway. These, and also I'm feeling like reading Lights Out. Maybe it's because it like kind of matches my blue vibe I've got going on, but that's the plan. That's the plan. And Dark Lover. I don't know. Maybe I'll swap up reading a chapter each. Hi, it's been a few days since I've technically updated you. The other night, I ended up reading 198 pages, not several hundred. But you know what? Not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. And last night, I read about 100 pages. Not bad. Not bad for a night before work night. And then last night, I went to bed kind of early, but also kind of late, considering that I had to get up at 6 a.m. to get ready for a doctor's appointment. So it is what it is. And also, I had a full work day yesterday. Today, I just had my early shift, and so I've been home a little bit. I have been in bed, just rotting. I have all my lights off. It's not even 6 o'clock. Turned my lights off because I was like, I'm gonna come in here and read, because I finished the video. I put up a video on Sunday, and I put up another video today, and so I kind of just don't want to do any more YouTube work tonight except for like film and read. I feel like that is a good use for the rest of my day, to just chill out and read and then get cranking on stuff again tomorrow, my first full day at home. I did, since I went to the doctor this morning for like a yearly whatever, went to the coffee shop afterwards because my work wasn't going to open for another couple hours. So I went, got some coffee, got secondary breakfast, got second breakfast. I read 50 pages in this while I was at the coffee shop. Not bad for an hour's work, just chilling like a villain. I am loving this. I am now halfway through Winter's Orbit, if I can stop slinging it around so you can actually see it. This follows Prince Kim and I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, but Count Janin, Prince Tiem and Count Janin. So this is space gay. Count J was married to a distant relative of Prince Kim's, named Tam. It was a political marriage because he's from another planet, like within their little system, and also their system is coming up on their 20-year renewal contract, like with the bigger galaxy and stuff like that. So it's really important to make these marriages look good, make all these alliances look solid. Tam, who Janin was married to, dies mysteriously, but they have to re-solidify the political alliance, so they're like, Kim, Jay, you're getting hitched. You're getting married. They're trying to get along with this arranged marriage and really try and figure each other out, and also have this political pressure to really deliver, to sell it, right? To sell that the alliance is strong and well and everything's fine, and also make their case to be included in the treaties and treated fairly, but also uncover the mystery of how Tam actually died. Because all is not as it seems. And so they're doing some digging and getting much more than what they bargained for, and getting what they bargained for with each other, if you know what I'm saying. So I am really enjoying this, and this is putting into perspective what else I'm reading, because Permanent Record and Silver Under Nightfall, I'll talk about it in a minute. This, though, I am really enjoying. It's such a breath of fresh air. It took me a little bit to get into the world and get comfortable with all the names and the settings and the politics and stuff that are going on. But I would read a whole daggum canon universe of this. Like Star Wars has their own, canon universe and all those books and stuff. I would do that with this kind of world, because the world is so fleshed out and interesting, and it's just, it's like a great flavor of the mind. I am really enjoying this writing style and this world building. I am loving getting to know these characters, and I have not yet figured out the mystery, which is saying something for Shay. I have some theories, but I'm not wholly confident in those theories, and I love the slow burn romance. I just love the actual character growth within these characters and getting to know them and getting to be frustrated at them and with them, because there's a good way to make a character that you're like, man, I see how you're acting, I see why you're acting the way that you're acting, but like, and a lot of books don't do it well. They do it to the point where you're like, you're an adult, just talk. Just talk to each other. You're adults, just talk to each other. And there's a good way to do it where you're like, wow, this is the result of some really heavy trauma and entrenched patterns in your mind that you gotta heal from by being shown that it doesn't have to be that way. So I am loving them. I'm having a silly, goofy time with it. I am absolutely devouring it. I've also been listening to the audiobook a little bit, but mainly I have been reading it and just absolutely loving it. So I might finish this tonight. I might just get really close to finishing it tonight and then finish it out tomorrow. I don't know, because whenever I get close like this, like if I read 250 pages tonight, I have 190 more pages to go tonight. And it's June 22nd, by the way. 129 more to go. My goal tonight is 500 to at least make up for a day. I want to have a 1K day before the month ends, but we'll see. I could finish this out tonight. I really could, but I don't want to like pressure myself to finish it because I don't want to feel like I'm rushing through it. So I'm going to read as much as I feel like reading, and I'll either finish it today or tomorrow. Either or. Okay, let's talk about Permanent Record. I'm disappointed. You sit right there. I'm disappointed, but I'm not hating it. There's a difference. This is just, I'm pretty sure this is YA, right? If it is YA, I can be more forgiving. However, there's a lot of infatuation with this relationship. This relationship is built off of infatuation. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm not a fan of insta-love. I'm just not. I don't believe in it. It doesn't sell to me. I don't like it. There are very, very few and rare cases where that setup actually works in books, I believe. And this is not even insta-love. This is they meet for like 20 minutes each time, and maybe like 2 hours at most, conversationally, twice. And then all of a sudden, he's taking flights out with her to places like a total stranger just because he knows of her and thinks he knows everything about her because he Googled her. He takes a flight out to like LA with her and her entire team, and he's signing NDAs and he's making all these decisions, and he's like totally infatuated with her and they're totally infatuated with each other. And it's not just like a, oh, you're hot, this is fun kind of thing. It's like, no, he's like falling for her. Not to the point of saying love yet, but he's like, oh my gosh, I'm crazy about this girl. Like, I'm crazy about this girl. She's amazing. She's like everything. I'm like, boy, if you don't. It's not making sense to me. I'm not sold on the romance, and it's so disappointing because I want to love it. I want to love the setup, but everything is just moving by too fast. For no reason. Why are we just hitting 100 miles an hour already? With like no backup, with no meat behind the bones. That's how I'm feeling. And I'm not, and I probably said this before, I probably said it in like an earlier update, but it's still holding true and I'm just really disappointed. If it's YA, again, I can understand it a little bit more because it's very easily readable. It's easily bingeable. I have been just flying through this. But in terms of actually being sold on the romance and being sold on rooting for them as a couple and rooting for them as characters, I'm just not. I'm like, okay, like I don't feel any tension for y'all because I don't believe in the love or the infatuation or the, not even love, because they don't have to be in love by the end of the book to have a romance, but I don't believe in the chemistry. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in the stakes of the chemistry. I feel like it's very, very shallow. I feel like they get along and they have good banter and stuff like that, and that's it. And yet we're supposed to feel the tension for these characters and like root for them, and I don't. So I'm not really sure how satisfying the conflict and the payoff are gonna be. But they did have this one banger line that almost just made me completely keep the book. Because see, there's this like tension going on right now where he thinks that she might be in love with this other person, and first of all, I'm like, that's delusional. Makes no sense. You're drawing conclusions where there are none and acting like high schoolers when like they're college age. It's not making any sense. What the was I thinking with the corn emoji? What does corn even represent? That I'm a genetically modified Monsanto fanboy? That's really funny. That's a banger line. It's not holding the magic for me that Emergency Contact did, which stinks. But I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm this far from finishing it. So, I'm on 264, and it is 417. So I actually may just finish this tonight. That way I'm done with it. 150 pages. Bang, boom, bam, boom. Is that actually about 150 pages? Quick math. Why is my chest hurting? I don't like that. 5, 45, 100, 145, 100 above, 100 above, 50, 40, 30. No, 35. 130. 147. Hello. I know. I look like a rat's nest made human. That's because I just came back in from outside because it is hot, hot, hot. But not as hot as it's going to be next week. So, I want to give you an update about last night. I did not end up reading 500 pages at all last night. However, I did end up reading 253 pages. So, and even more importantly, I ended up finishing Permanent Record. I ended up giving it like 3 stars. Like 3.5. If we're being honestly generous. A lot of my critiques did not change. And I more so felt that really towards the end, it saved itself in some ways, and there were really good character development, introspective moments, especially in growing up and taking responsibility and taking accountability, but by the end of it, it did not do what I feared, but it did something a little bit worse. And that was that, to me, it made the story, in a lot of ways, feel like there was no point. Like, we did all this for nothing. And that's generally how I feel about a lot of lit fic, and I just hate it. I'm like, I wasted my time here. Yes, I love filler, and I love, like, days in the life and stuff like that, but when it feels like we're being set up with these different tensions and stuff, like, you want to see a payoff, and it felt like the biggest tension we were being set up for had no payoff, and the little things were the things that paid off, but not in the ways that were satisfying to pay off. And so I'm disappointed in it. I'm really bummed. Do I think a younger reader would like this? Yes, a lot. And I do think that it has a lot of good lessons, and I do think it's bingeably readable, but makes me sad, dude. Makes me sad, because this was primed for me to love this. So, I'm done with that. And I'm so close to finishing Winter's Orbit. I'm so close. The ideal plan today is to finish both of these, because I'm like 100 pages from finishing both of these. So, if I can finish both of these today, that'll be the 200. Just about. It's not 100 pages exactly, but it's around that for both of them. So that'd be about 200 pages, and then I read 50 somewhere else in something, probably boyfriend material, because we are on a time crunch, right? It's June 24th. We are on a time crunch, and I would love to hit 500 today. It's only 4 p.m., so I have a bunch of time. The fact that I hit 250, even when I start reading, like, later at night, is fantastic. But I'm going to start reading this afternoon. I'm going to do some editing stuff, and I'm going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Alternate between reading and editing and filming and stuff like that. And this shirt is suddenly way too tight because it's hot and sticky and humid, and I'm having sensory issues. It's fine. Okay, so we're going to do this so I can get this off of me, because I feel like I have ballooned in this shirt with the way that it's sticking to my skin, and it's driving me insane. Plan is to finish both of these today. Look, even their, like, color palette is kind of complimentary. Read 50 pages and whatever. And I would love if before the end of this, I could have a 1K day where I take that day and I'm like, I'm doing nothing but reading and I'm getting 1K, because I want to finish as many of these books as physically freaking possible. And next week, it's going to be miserably hot. I know we only have a few days of next week for this challenge. Yeah, we have Monday and Tuesday, but it's going to be miserably hot. Gonna be miserably hot. Perfect time to read. Actually, I'm working all day Monday, but Tuesday, when I come home, maybe we'll have a 1K day then to, like, ramp it off. I don't know. We'll see. I'll be wanting to do a lot anyway, since that'll be the last day that I can read for my June wrap-up. Smart. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to give you that little bit of an update. This is how much we have to go. Over here. Or over here. Over there. So, alright. I'll check in with you later. I'm gonna go do actual stuff now. Bye. Good morning, y'all. It is the morning of the 25th, and I did not update you last night because I was pretty busy reading, but I have some fantastic news for you. Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. For once, Shay did what she absolutely predicted. I finished 3 books, baby. Hell yeah, I finished 3 books last night, and it wasn't even 1 a.m. It wasn't even 1 a.m. when I finished all 3. Who am I? Who is she? She is the icon. She is the moment. For the moment. But look, I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Shall we give a speed read of all three of these? All right, the first I finished was Catching Fire, which I have since discovered, or I'm putting as the 17th book in this. I finished this. This is from my 10 pages a day video on my main channel, which if you didn't know, now you know. I was so behind in this, I don't even know how far behind I was in it, because I haven't totally calculated it up, but I finished it for this, and I caught up, and now I need to find a new 10 pages a day book, but that is another video problem for another me. It's the same me, just in a different clip. Markiplier is currently yelling at his camera for some reason. Whenever I'm filming videos and just going about my day, you know how some people like leave on like aquarium, like live streams or whatever. My aquarium is Markiplier videos. I gotta show you, hold on. Y'all think I'm joking. I would never joke about the plier. Would never joke about the plier. I've seen the movies, yes. Do I remember him? No! But I really enjoyed this. Okay. Next, Silver Under Nightfall. I just talked about this pretty recently, so I won't talk too much more about it. I did end up giving this more grace. It is a lower 4-star. I didn't knock it down to 3, but it is a lower 4-star. The conversations that would have made me believe their amount of affection and care they've been saying they had for each other started happening in the last, like, 1/8 of the book. And I'm like, okay, now I believe that they care and have affection for one another. Now I believe it. You should have been having these conversations, like, 100 pages ago. Like, the way the pacing of the affection versus the actual showing of the affection should have been swapped, in my opinion. And as we know, my opinion is always right. Always. Ever. I didn't believe it until the end. And so, like, I didn't get to appreciate or really believe in the romance till, like, the very end. Which sucks. Because then he started having these, like, our main character started having these emotional conversations with the person that I said they had the least chemistry with, and they're having these vulnerabilities, and they're sharing more with each other and opening up to each other, and I'm like, why can't we have had this, like, 100 pages ago? And yes, you can be like, well, that particular plot point didn't. Shut up! I know! They could have had an emotionally vulnerable conversation about literally anything else. You can have more affection with someone just discussing peas and carrots than the chemistry that they had 100 pages before any kind of those conversations ever happened. Fight me about it. I don't care. It just wasn't executed the best that it could be. Markiplier now has text on screen that says, "You can be cringe," and he's, like, holding up a sandwich like a food reviewer. No, that's not a sandwich. That's, oh god. That's like the thing you get in a bento box, like a rice ball thing. Shay's gonna have to look up the name. I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna rewind and show you. What am I doing? I have the technology. Come here, Mark. This thing. I forget what they're called. This is an iconic screenshot, though. I'm not gonna lie. That looks so good. Now I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. I gotta make these updates so I can go eat. Thank you, Mark, for reminding me, because I would have forgotten. Okay, that's it for the Markiplier breaks. I promise. I promise. I promise. I got easily distracted. So I'm glad that we finally got those conversations, because I started finally believing it and really being invested and devoted to these characters and wanting things to turn out for the best. I do still think that the action scenes could have dragged on a little bit longer, and the previous climax that I said was the climax turned out to not be the climax, but that still doesn't make me forgive it. I still think I would have taken 20 more pages in this book to read a really cool battle scene and a really cool war with, like, tension and pacing and stuff like that. You can have multiple of those in a book. I don't know if anyone, like, told y'all this. I'm not talking to the writer, I'm talking to everybody. I don't know if anyone told you this. You can have, like, multiple climaxes and stuff in a book. Wink. I liked the pacing of the last battle more than, like, the first big battle. I was more invested, and it felt like an actual tug in the gut that, like, something could happen. Right? Like, something really bad could happen. The reveal I saw coming a mile away. I saw it coming. But that's not an insult to the author of the book. I'm terribly good at pattern recognition because of my trauma and ADHD. So I tend to predict a lot of things. I didn't realize for a long time that predicting things is often pattern recognition dealt with trauma and neurodivergence. So it's nothing against the author or the book or anything like that. I think the reveal was well done, and I think it had good stakes. And I'm interested to kind of see where this goes in the next one, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I would kind of be fine just leaving it here. Like, if I never ever picked up the second book, I'd be okay with that. But that's a good thing in a way, because it means that this one ended well. It didn't end in a way that was like super frustrating or any kind of thing like that. You might be like, well, it's bad because it doesn't want to make you read the second book. I didn't say that. I said I would be okay if I never read the second book. Even though, like, I want to, like, I'm curious. I wasn't left hanging or anything like that. Like, I think it ended well. And it left me curious, and that's enough. You know? So I really did enjoy this, and it's just still a low 4-star because of the pacing and the way that things were ordered. But in terms of fantasy and uniquity, again, I'm saying that word, I don't even know if it is a word, I'm making it a word. I really enjoyed it. I love this world. I love the concept. I want more of this. Give me more of this grittiness, but like in a fantasy, because I love grimdark fantasy, right? Like Mark Lawrence, John Gwynne, like Joe Abercrombie. I love grimdark fantasy. Give me more of like this and that. You know, because, like, I want something that's a little bit cozy. Like, I don't just want, like, man blood, which, as much as I love those 3 authors, and they are vast and rich in their depths of their writing, there's just something, like, an extra, like, this isn't romantasy, but it's got more of a romantic feel to the writing, and I'm not necessarily, like I said, talking about romance, even though there is romance. There's just something a little bit more, not soft, but there's something a little bit more flowy. There's, like, a more ease, like, open access to the world rather than just, like, getting dirt and mud in your eye, which is great and fantastic, and those books and that writing has their place, and it's some of my favorite books of all time. But there's something so breathtaking about almost, it has the feel of how Gothic architecture looks. You know, like the Bloodborne cathedrals and stuff like that, you know, like this and like that cathedral, I think it's in Cologne. Also, I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce it, but I'm American. Yeehaw, I'm sorry, okay? Has that feel. The writing has the feel of how those things look. That's the only way I can describe it. And yet it's still grim and it's fantasy, and I want more of that. Like, yum, 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 yum. So that's where I stand with that. Now let's talk about Winter's Orbit, because this was a 5-star that showed me that I am not in a slump, that I just wasn't totally enjoying the things that I was reading. Because when I was reading Permanent Record and this and Silver Under Nightfall, when I was really being irritated with it, I was like, man, am I just like in a slump, and am I being bitter and like grumpy? Because, you know, sometimes you get in a mood where you're like, this book sucks, and then it comes to find out like you're really stressed and stuff, and you go back to the book and you're like, oh, you're not perfect, but I'm sorry, that was a little bit harsher than, you know, I really needed it to be. It's not you, it's me. I thought wrong, which you didn't hear that. I'm never wrong. It was just that I wasn't totally enjoying what I was reading. Turns out I did. Like, you know, it turned out fine. But this showed me that I was not in a slump. Because I love this. This is everything I want in world building. This is everything I want in a romance. The slow burn, the tension, actually getting to know the characters and seeing them struggle and rise and conquer. And also the perfect amount of stakes and pacing. Now, did I call the villain from the beginning? Yes. I did, but I wasn't totally confident, which is new for me, which is great, but I called it. Literally, my first guess was correct. I was like, yeah, I saw it, but it made me question it, and I wasn't sure, so it's really well done. It's so well done. I love the world building. It is so intricate. If you like the Star Wars books, legacy or canon, doesn't matter, this has that same feel of intricate world building. Shay, it's sci-fi. Okay? It's the way that the world building is interwoven. And if you like Becky Chambers' world building and writing, I'd recommend this to you. Because everything has a place that makes sense, and not everything is explained to you, because not everything that you need to know. But you need to know it for that scene, and that's as much as context that is given to you, but you're not expected to memorize it. But also, you're not handheld. It's brought up as the characters feel it relevant to bring up. It's not just like a throwaway line. It adds context, but it doesn't force coherence, if that makes sense. You get shown something, and then it comes up later, but you're not going to miss any points if you miss it on the test. You know what I mean? Everything is perfectly where it's meant to be, and the chemistry between these two, love it. It is not forced. I think it is perfectly paced. It was a breath of fresh air. It was hydration, baby. It was so fantastic and fun to read. It did take me a little bit to get into, but just because of the names and stuff like that, trying to keep everything straight, which, I mean, I struggle with even in fantasy, so it's nothing against this. But once I got all that settled in my brain, fan-freaking-tastic. I loved it so much. I would read a Star Wars universe of these books. I really would. Just following them, because I love the amount of politics and all the interweaving, like, webs of all what's going on and the nitty and gritty. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. So, yeah, that's done for now. I ended up reading a total of 308 pages yesterday. So for once, we were above board. For once. Not quite the 500 that I wanted, but you know, I'll take it. It was over 250, so I will take it. Today, I have a lot of filming to do, including doing this. I need to edit some. I need to film my birthday book haul and stuff like that. But I really do plan on reading because it's gloomy and stuff, so I'm not really going to go outside. I'm going to force myself to really stay inside, even as much as it pains me, because I have stuff to do, but whatever. But I'm going to plan on reading, like, boyfriend material, Lights Out, and Magnifico today, I think. And I think I'm also going to try and read Sir Gawain. At least, like, a couple of pages in it. Okay, y'all. There's been enough B-roll for this vlog, I think. At least in terms of today. I am gonna read before bed. It's 10 o'clock. And I need to get up early in the morning. So we're gonna see how this is gonna go. I am reading a lot more just romance, rather than just, like, straight out fantasy or nonfiction or anything like that. So hopefully that helps, at least tonight. But I am gonna be working on The Lies of Locke Lamora, Lights Out, Boyfriend Material, and Soul of a Witch. This would be our Hail Mary for like 250 pages. I think I'll save it for a day when I really just need something to fly through, because you do fly through these. I'd rather get through the harder works first. So let's do Lies of Locke Lamora while I still have some brain cells tonight, and then we'll swap over to the kind of no thinky, just enjoy books. You know what I mean? Hi, it's June 25th, 26th. I'm not reading jack tonight. I'm in my bathroom because I'm about to take a shower because I'm tired. It's almost 10 p.m., 9:35, and I have to be up and at work and at the venue at 8 a.m. tomorrow for a full day, full gig, because we're doing this fundraiser concert, which it's for a great cause and stuff. We have 10 bands. I get there at 8 a.m. I am the first person there, as far as I know, and it's not over till like 11 o'clock. You can imagine why I don't really care to read tonight, considering I've gotten 5 hours of sleep the past 2 nights. So I think I'm going to call it a loss on today, which is fine. I may read a few pages, but I'm setting the expectation right now that it's okay if I read none. So I'll probably get into bed early, like while my hair is drying and stuff after my shower, and I'll probably like read a little bit, but I'm just taking away the expectation of 250 tonight. That way I can give myself a break and get some sleep, because it's going to be more important to get some really good sleep. And then hopefully Sunday, I can spend a lot of time reading, because I will probably need some time to recover. Anyway, if I don't see you tonight, which I need to tell you, editing Shay, after I shower, I'm going to write down how much I read last night. I'm pretty sure it was exactly 250. I'm pretty sure I made certain of that, but I don't know. I did read at least 250 last night, if not exactly. Editing Shay will let you know, the stuff. I'm going to take a shower. And then I'm going to go to bed. Hi, friends. It is June 28th. Yes, June 28th. And I want to inform you that a few nights ago, not last night, but the night before, I did read 250 pages. I read 50 in here, and I read 100 each in Lights Out and Boyfriend Material. It is 9:30 tonight. I have to go to work tomorrow, early in the morning. Do I think I'm going to read 250 pages tonight? Probably not. That's okay. I've come to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to finish all these books. If I could finish, let's be so for real. If I could finish these 3 and then Sir Gawain and the Green Knight by the end of the month, I would be so happy. And I would call this a success. Because I've already read like 7 of the 10, I think. Or 7 of the 17. And that's pretty good. In my mind, that's already pretty good. So if I could finish these 3 and make it a 10 out of 17, and then Sir Gawain and make it 11 out of 17, I would love to have a 1K day. And I could do that on Tuesday, maybe, like the last day of the month. I don't know, though. I'm not going to force myself into that. Gotcha. And I'm just going to read tonight. I worked a 12 and a half hour shift yesterday doing audio for a fundraiser. It turned out really good because it was a fundraiser for the animal shelter. We got a lot of dogs adopted, a lot of money raised, so it was all for a good cause. But was it rough? Was it rough? Yes, and I don't mean rough as in the dog sound, but I got that dog in me. I actually had a coworker tell me, because they were like, people say I have golden retriever energy. And they were like, and you're not that. And I said, well, what kind of dog am I then? They were like, you're a different type of dog. And I said, well, what kind of dog am I then? And they were like, I don't know, but you're a chill dog. And I was like, what does that mean? And he said, you're like a dog, he goes, that I would sit on a porch with and like crack open a cold one with and just watch the sunset and be like, hell yeah. You know, chill dog. And I was like, keep washing dishes, son, and keep passing them over. We were cleaning up after a party. I'm tired, but we're gonna read tonight and we're gonna have fun. I'm not gonna stress about it. So let's get to doing that. And then I will tell you before I go to bed what I get done. Okay? Sound cool? Sound funky fresh? Let's do it. Let's do it. Good morning, y'all. It is the morning of the 29th, and I wanted to update you about last night. Last night, I actually ended up almost hitting the goal. I'm not that far in the deficit. Between these two books, between Lies of Locke Lamora and Boyfriend Material, I ended up reading a total of 174 pages last night. Not too shabby. So, not that much of it. I know it's like 76 pages, but again, better than 250, right? And I think I'm about to sit here this morning and read a chapter or two. That way, because maybe I can make up a little bit of the deficit or get ahead today. Because I would like to read 400 pages a day. I was going to say 500, but I'll shoot a little bit lower. Because I have stuff to do when I get home. But we'll see. Because I really want to finish out the strong. Like I said, it's so funny because when I went in my room, I told y'all, right? That I'm like, I want to finish, if I can finish these 3 books, Lights Out is sitting over here, and Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, like, I'd be happy. But every time I look at one of the books that I included in this, that I want to read, I'm like, man, I still want to finish that one. I still want to finish that one. Which is a good sign, right? Because it's like, I'm going to finish it sooner rather than later, because I'm like, internally, I'm like, oh, I want to viscerally read these books. But, again, if I can go ahead and get through these 3, which I believe I can, because I'm like halfway through this one, about halfway through this one, and I'm halfway through each of these. Why did the insane part of my brain just be like, if we can finish all of these today, we can just go bam, 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 bam. Ma'am? No! Not today. I might be able to finish Boyfriend Material today, and then get another third through Locke Lamora, but I don't know. I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too worried about finishing Bam 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 today. That would be incredible. That'd be super funky fresh, but that's where we're at right now. I'm probably going to read a chapter or 2, just chill out before I have to go to work, and then we'll talk when I get home. Bye. Hi, friends. It's June 30th. It's our last day, and it's also 3:18, and I want to spend most of today, most of this afternoon, reading and editing, because, my God, I came home from work early, but then I decompressed for like an hour and ate lunch and stuff. But now I'm ready to sit here and read. The dogs are fine. They ran around and played outside, and now we're all inside, away from the heat and the over 110 heat index. My current plan right now, finish Boyfriend Material, because last night, how many pages did I read? I probably should have looked at this before I read 58 pages last night, and that's all that I read. But that's okay, because I was tired. Today, it's not just the 250. This is the free-for-all. This is the 1K special attempt where I'm going to try and at least finish the 3 that I said. And then we're going to see what else I do with the others. I'm back inside, and I've decided that I am going to go with the Lies of Locke Lamora, because I am 51% of the way through this. Do I think that I can actually finish this out tonight? Legitimately, I am delusional enough to say yes. Even though I have like 300 pages to go. I am delusional enough to say yes, because it's 5:55 right now on the timer. I am delusional enough to think I can do it. At the very least, I'm going to try. I'm going to start by just reading a couple of chapters here and there, and then I'm probably going to read Lights Out and get Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. But I also want to edit, but I also might just not edit tonight. I might just focus on doing all this. Good morning, y'all. Happy July 1st. It's over. It's over. It is done. It is finished. And so am I. I did not end up finishing Lights Out. Let's just get that out of the way. But I did almost read double what I was supposed to last night. I ended up reading a total of 423 pages. Not bad. Almost made up for a missed day, which is pretty cool. But I still hit way past our mark. And more importantly, last night in total, I ended up finishing 2 out of the 3 books that I did want to finish, and I read like 20-something odd pages in this, so, you know, it's even closer. It's even closer to progress, but I finished 2 out of 3. Not bad. I've already talked to y'all a little bit about boyfriend material, so let's chat about The Lives of Locke Lamora, because this is what I finished right before bed. And I was literally about to, like, pass out while reading this, because I was so tired and so exhausted that I had to put it down, put on the audiobook for a little bit, and walk around my house, and then sit down and read, like, the last 60 pages. That's no fault of this book, though, because this book was 5 stars fantastic. It is exactly what I'm feeling and what I need right now out of my, like, high, gritty, grimdark kind of fantasy mood. I really jinxed it, too, when I was like, oh, it's more grimy than gritty, because, ooh, did it get gory real fast. Like, it got very, 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 not splatterpunk, like, nothing that dramatic, but it got a lot more, like, Joe Abercrombie real fast, you know? And that's great. That was fantastic, because the violence and the conflicts were ramping up, right? You'll have to excuse me. I'm still drinking my coffee. I literally just woke up not that long ago. But this was exactly what I needed when I needed to read it. I am so glad that I read this, that I was able to get this for, like, pretty much a steal from my library student book club sale thing. I'm so happy to own this. I've heard things about, like, you know, the series feeling like it's never going to be finished and stuff like that. But it's funny, because I didn't know that. Maybe subconsciously in the back of my mind I knew that. But I felt like literally I had this thought when I ended this book last night, because I can see there's more books. However, I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? If I didn't read any more books in this series, this would be a pretty good one to end on. Of course, I want to know what happens to these characters and, like, follow along and see how it progresses, because there's some stuff that I want to see, you know, kind of wrapped up. But again, kind of like Silver Under Nightfall, I like the way that this ended. I thought it wrapped up really well, really nicely, to the fact that, like, I am satisfied even if I never touch the other books. Will I be? I'm like 90% satisfied, you know, like, I can live with it and I would be fine. That's pretty great. That's really, really good. That shows an author that really has their writing tightened up, and what the power of good editors and stuff can do. This world was very rich and in depth, and it just made me miss, like, it showed everything I loved about getting sucked into a book and sucked into a world and really just living there with them. Because a lot of the stuff might be hard to grasp at first, but it all comes back into play later. Right, and that's when it's kind of, like, self-satisfying, because you're like, wait a minute, I noticed that earlier. Like, you took that in, that information without having your hand held, and now you're seeing it flipped and turned on itself in a different light, in a way that builds tension and breeds anxiety. And that is the core of horror as well. Really good horror. But this isn't a horror book, even though at some points it kind of felt like it. But anyway, I really enjoyed this. So I think this was a successful challenge thing. I'm gonna get to editing, and then I will probably do a wrap up, because I need to add up all the numbers and stuff first before I can properly do a wrap up. And yeah, we'll talk then. For now, though, I kind of don't want to read anything. I'll read today, but I just, man, it's nice not to have to think about the numbers, you know, like, I can just, like, read a chapter or whatever. So anyway, this has been fun, and I will see you when I add up all the numbers and junk that I gotta do. Hi! So we're finally done, and I am making this wrap up, like, 20 days? It's July 16th, so 15 days after I last talked to you. Lovingly, this video has been a pain in my rear end for multiple reasons. And it's fully on me. It's the fact that I didn't totally notate down every single day how much I read and how much I read in each individual book, but I have gotten better from a lot of my past challenge videos where I did keep up a lot more. Like, I notated in Notion or somewhere, usually when I didn't film, so that helped. But you live and learn, right? You live and learn. So it was a lot of going back and forth, tracing over Goodreads, tracing over screenshots, tracing over this, and blah, blah, blah. You don't care. We're just here for the wrap up, right? I just need you to know that this has been a labor of love. But it's been a labor. So that's why I'm wearing a hat, because my hair looks like a rat's nest, because I need to go shower, and I need a tall drink of Diet Dr. Pepper. What is our final tally, you ask? Our final tally, drum roll, please, with a starting point of 7,087 pages to begin with. before we subtracted what I had already read, we have read a total of 3,748 pages. I know. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, pigeon on a chair. The superior version. Now, a lot happened this month. How do I feel about this overall in general? I feel pretty freaking great. You want to know why? Because first of all, let me give you some updates. There were 18 books, and I still don't know whether Catching Fire was or was not the 18th book. Immortality was, but see, when I notated down all the numbers in the equation, I thought that the one that I had notated for Immortality was not the one. It ended up not being the one I had notated for Immortality. So that is why I left the editor's note at the beginning of the video, because I thought that that was Immortality, the one that took the place of the number that I thought was Catching Fire. But going back, literally today, as I'm filming this, turns out that the number that I thought was Catching Fire was actually Immortality, and I think Catching Fire was the number I thought was Immortality. And so do you see why this has been a pain right up my keister, right up where, Miss Frizzle would go in the bus on a field trip? And of course, that is the result that we are counting Catching Fire towards the thing. I am too tired. I have too much of a headache to go back and redo the editing and redo the counts all the way through the video and to figure out, to be like, oh, I'm actually going to count these 33 pages and then go through every single day and remember how much I read every single day. So I just left the original edit where I'm not counting it, and I'm adding the total number of what I read to this final count, which is 211, because that's what I had it calculated in the formula as what I had left. So there you go. Now, is there a margin for error in this? Yes, absolutely there's a margin for error, because like I said, I didn't notate exactly like I should have, but I think that it is the most accurate that I can possibly make it, considering all the cross-referencing I had to do. All that Georgetown historical research education is coming in clutch. But 3,700 and whatever pages, that's actually insane for a birthday month. I'm so proud of myself, because a lot of the books that we finished were big boys too. Shall we talk about it? Shall we talk about it real fast? Also, I just want to let you know about Catching Fire. I did love it. The only review I'm going to give you, I'm not going to make this super long, is that I think Suzanne Collins is doing the perfect thing of starting with a very narrow perspective of the world, like she did in Hunger Games, and now we're zooming out just as we need to fully understand and feel the repercussions and the struggle and the tension in the world, and actually make it personal to us, not just personal to who we're reading about. And I think it's fantastic. You can watch my latest wrap-up video if you want to see me talk about it more, but anyway, out of 18 books, we finished 10 of them. We finished 10. 10 out of 18. And honestly, that's kind of what I was shooting for towards the end anyway. So, would you look at that, Clarence? That, just in a month. From trying, not always succeeding, simply trying to read 250 pages a day. Look at this. I am so insanely proud of myself. I don't care that I didn't even read all 18, because I read the majority, and I finished several series, and I started a couple more, and I had so many great reads. Plus, this much off my physical TBR. No one can say that I don't read my physical TBR. This is for comparison. This is how much we had left to go, and this is how much I read. Yes, these are turned around because I'm in the middle of taking a thumbnail. My arms are like jello right now. So we're just getting, two horses, one saddle? I don't like that. But this is for comparison. And it's not that I have a zero number in all these books. Like, some of these I had read a pretty penny in. Like, Lights Out, I read 160 pages in. You can see the bookmark there giving me away. But, yeah, so I'm very happy with this. No complaints from me, except for my note-taking skills. My arms, I can't even wave to say goodbye to you. If you stuck around this long, thank you for sticking around. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that now before you leave. I mean, you waited this long, right? You might as well stick around to see what other chaos is in store for you. That being said, there's going to be some more videos for you to check out on this channel. I have other challenges and hopefully much more meticulously note vlogs and all that kind of crap coming your way very soon. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and if you ain't heard it from anyone else today, I love you. Love and peace. Bye!